It's gone sideways.
Ready to go.
Hi, everyone. So it's Siobhan from Adams and Butler, and I'm here with Gio, and we're introducing to some newer properties that are available in Scotland. So we're delighted that we have John, who is presenting new apartments that are available in Edinburgh, and also Glenifinnan House, which is like sort of, near the Jacobite train and beside Fort William. So think in Inverlochy, that area. And then, of course, this fantastic new addition to Edinburgh, 100 Princess Street, which is part of the Red Carnation collection. And I know a lot of people are big fans of Red Carnation with their amazing properties all over the world, especially our own Ashford Castle in Ireland and the African and the UK properties, which we would use quite a lot. So Anthony is going to tell us about 100 Princess Street, which is brand new and something that everyone should know about. So John, we're going to start with yourself. Can you tell us about RIGH Apartments? And you've been a naughty boy because you put an email address there, which you shouldn't really have done, because the clients should be booking through ourselves, but it's fine. You can go ahead.
My apologies. I just love people knowing about me. Which clearly they'll all come by you anyway, Siobhan, because you're far popular than anybody on the score. Shall I begin?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Well, we'll talk about RÍGH and its location. Not a million miles away from Anthony. Anthony, I did try and sneak in and go around to your hotel the other day. But RÍGH comes from, well, RÍGH, as the official name is, it's actually King. The property development company behind this are rather young and nimble. They have a couple of apartments already in Edinburgh, so they've got a little bit of scope, but this is their first development. There's 25 units behind me that you see on the corner there. And literally, yeah, walking distance. You've got great views of the castle. And it's just really, it's a really great situation to be in. I mean, it's one of the most popular streets, as we know, in Edinburgh. And we've got 25 units at the moment. And when I say 25 units or keys, we also have a reconfigured penthouse that we're putting in play at the moment. It's probably going to take another month. That's the top. So you literally see Edinburgh Castle right from the rooftop there across. At the lower end of the building, we're working with some, I would say, some food and beverage providers to come up with the concept at the moment. The property only opened up in May, so it's relatively new, not as new as Anthony's, I have to say, but really new to the scene. And where we feel we sit is somewhere between regular service departments and Cheval. And I've used Cheval because obviously it's a good basis and people know the product in town as well. And that is literally walking distance.
Just for those who mightn't be familiar with the Cheval, it's also the Grand, it's also known as, isn't it, John? People know it as the Grand.
It is indeed. It used to be an old bank, I think, of some description, Siobhan.
It was a bank, yeah. And can I ask, do you have any images as well?
I do have images that were sent to.
I've got a few pictures here. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, maybe Gio, we should see those first so we have an idea of a sense of place.
Yeah.
I was limited on my image, I believe. People wanted me to talk for some reason, Siobhan.
No, we don't like PowerPoint presentations, but we do like to have
just
an idea.
because it's a. What can you guys see the pictures there?
Not yet.
It's gonna. I can feel it loading up. It's rather like me in the morning. It takes about 3 or 4 different coffees by the looks of things.
It's saying paused, so let me try again. Share screen. Like that. Can you see the picture now?
Yep. So where is it there, John? Do you want to just direct us in that photo where it is?
Yeah, it's because actually you're looking, you see the picture and the backdrop behind me. I'm actually on the other side of the statue there, so that we're on the right hand side there. And then down the road there is Princess Street.
Princess Street's at the front there, and that's the castle there, is it?
No, the castle's to the right.
They're here, correct.
It's out of eye view at the moment. So
this is the garden. And then the castle's just behind there.
So you're the back. Oh, can I use other hotel names? Stephen won't mind. Balmoral to the left, Kimpton to the right. How's that?
Yeah. Okay, so people have a sense of place.
Yeah, and
and
we've
look,
got a few imagery of the rooms.
Stops on there. So sorry, Anthony, did you say?
Go back.
No, okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. Move forward. We can talk
just
about
a few pictures of the rooms.
So,
just to give,
oh my God, that was quick. I hope you get a sense from these. We were going for a very contemporary feel to the property. Anecdotally, can I use anecdotes? I love using them. I've just bought a mattress from the hotel. They are some of the most comfortable mattresses in. And actually, I've had two clients from Virtuoso in London that also have mattresses from the hotel. People are going to get fascinated by the mattresses, but let's talk about the interiors because it's been very, very well designed. We have a wonderful inquiry from Siobhan and the team at the moment out of the East Coast, which is looking to take an entire floor, because what we can do with the configuration on each floor, of which there are 7, is have that there are doors that actually seal off 3 rooms together, and then another 3 rooms, and within those 3 rooms you have a suite, you have ability to have most of the room configuration twinned, and then a larger second suite as well. So we can do great families, and it's really good for, I suppose, for generational travel at the end of the day, which is kind of what the kind of apartment concept lends itself to. It's not full service by any stretch of the imagination, but you have everything within that kitchen unit, microwave, fridge, cooker, to be able to be self-sufficient in there. And we've had a lot of people that are looking at using it for kind of long stays and using it as a base, but also people that are traveling through Edinburgh into the countryside and back again. But obviously, because of its location as well, you're amongst some of the best restaurants and amongst some of the best bars and restaurants within Edinburgh itself. Our food and beverage concept, when it comes online, will be somewhat complementary. At the moment, full transparency, we use Coat across the road as a breakfast venue, but we can and do, because we have a small converted suite really, that we use as a guest area for people that are arriving early, where we serve complimentary pastries and coffee and water, and there's areas there for the bags and storage, etc. And likewise, when people are checking in, it is a little bit more technical, and I use that word very sympathetically, because the actual headquarters for the property company is next door to the building. So I've had people that have checked in there that are slightly less comfortable using the technology, and by which I mean you can print out your own keys in advance. We will get that on an app so people can let themselves into the rooms automatically as well. But there is always somebody there, and in certain cases, given I suppose what I would suggest are the level of clientele that Adams and Butler look after, having their hands held, having people check them in personally, we can do that also as well. But you can do a lot, and we interact a lot with the local businesses through the app as well, and that's coming on stream. So much so that we're going to offer other services that they can use with the app, but it's very complementary to when they're in Edinburgh at the end of the day.
But John, can I ask you a question? Is there a minimum stay?
No. No.
Okay, so no minimum stay.
And we used to being asked that question, and they, as directed by us, are very, very clear on initially where they're positioning, and that's to position this property through great partnerships such as the one with Adams and Butler at the end of the day. We know your reach is far wider than ours. Whilst the guys are quite young and I'd say quite dynamic, they appreciate the traditional style of travel that this product and the level of product that it can afford as well. So they're very, very, I mean, we did so many surveys after people originally stayed at the property, so much so, as I mentioned, we ripped up the penthouse to reconfigure it. But we're putting additions into rooms that people feel would be more beneficial, more instructional stuff because of some of the lighting systems, etc. But I'm, well, as you can tell from my my hair, I'm slightly receding there, and I'm quite old, but I can get around the lighting system and the cooker and everything controlled within the room.
And then just a few other questions. Like Diane was one who asked about the minimum stay, but Gwen has a question. Can you stock the fridge for breakfast, for example, if necessary, so they don't have to leave?
It's not the largest fridge in the world, but it's large enough. And we thus far have had nobody come back to us and say there's not enough space here as well.
Okay. And then can I ask you just a few other things? Do you have a gym?
We don't have a gym. Question was raised recently about who we're going to interact with in Edinburgh. That piece is still being.
So you'll do a partnership with a local gym, probably.
Yeah, we will do. I have personally, because of some of our bizarrely, I have 2 Italians based in Edinburgh that I work with for my properties in Italy, who are yoga instructors, Norwegian hill climbers, do treks in the Arctic, and they do Pilates. And both of them I have access to, and I've discussed that with the company themselves. If somebody wants some one-on-one Pilates, yoga, even if they want to walk around, yeah, they could do that, some exercise. So we can provide that as well.
Brilliant. And then and Nancy was saying about what's the name of the property. So it's RIGH.
It is everybody pronounces it RIGH Properties.
Okay, well, it's a Celtic word, and normally, or like it'd be I father RIGH, and it normally means kings as opposed to one.
It is.
King.
And there's a little accent
father,
on what.
Father. Yeah. But it's RIGH. So
it is. It is indeed. And what?
Then, sorry, just one other thing. Because we're getting questions coming in. 2 things. Well, one question, 2 parts. Can you compare yourself price-wise to Cheval as in the Grand? And then can you also give a lead-in price for 1-bedroom, the public rate, so people have an idea?
Look, they're again very dynamic pricing. So yeah, I'm just putting it out there because I'm talking to a lot of people in the US, and I don't want to be sued. But for instance, the opening rates in May, we started at mid-200s. For 1-bedrooms, and they will increase depending on the size, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, etc. That's a good grounding at the end of the day. And how does that compare? I think we're probably about a third off Cheval, I would think.
So you're better value than Cheval at the moment, as you said.
At the moment, yes. Well, we've got 25 units as suggested. We will add another 25 units to it in the future. We've bought the building next door.
Fantastic, and a brilliant location. So we'll probably go on, unless there's something you think you can add, we'll go on to Anthony and come back to you for Glenifinnan. Would that be okay, or do you have anything further?
There was something I was going to say, but I got completely tripped out by that question. It was such a good question, Siobhan. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I should mention. Staff are wonderful. Attention to detail. Well, just ask your staff. Chloe's been all over some of the inquiries that you've given us. We're getting a good pattern from North America at the moment. I just think they appreciate what we're doing there. And look, we're here behind you to help wherever we can.
I'm sorry, is there an elevator there? That's one thing I was thinking of.
Yes, absolutely. Oh God, right. Yes, absolutely. Sorry, that sounds like such an obvious question to answer, but you don't often think about it. So much so
that many older buildings don't have one.
Yeah, but they've been automated because there is a staircase, 3 stairs as you come in to the property. You can activate and use the security code to get into the building, but there is a disabled lift for 3 stairs, so you can get into the lift as well. It's complete, and then we've got accessibility rooms, I think is the right pronunciation I should use as well. So they've thought of all that.
Brilliant. Okay, so thanks a million, John, and we'll come back to you now for Glenifinnan. So over to you, Anthony, and tell us about this new gem in the crown of Red Carnation.
Oh, when Gio gave me the call to say, would you like to participate in a webinar about Edinburgh, I was like, yes, please, because this property, 100 Princess Street, Edinburgh, is a masterpiece in itself. Before I introduce you to my colleague, Laura, who's joining us from Edinburgh, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the hotel. The design concept was inspired by the adventurers and the tales of Scottish explorers. And the building itself is a building that's been in Edinburgh for many, many, many years, before any of us on this call were even born. It was formerly called the Royal Overseas League headquarters, but it's certainly a stunning hotel from a design point of view, from the staff point of view. I've got a little, I wonder if I can share my screen.
Yeah, you should be able.
Here we go.
Yep, we can see it.
These lovely people really make all the difference to our guests. And we opened not so long ago, and this last weekend, the Swift effect took effect. And so I'm sure Laura will share what her experience has been with delivering that excellence and service and quality that Red Carnation Hotels is known for. And this is certainly an elevated offering. So a little bit of a background. The gentleman that you see on the left, Malcolm Hendry, he is the managing director for 100 Princess Street. And for those of you who are experienced with our hotels in London, he oversees the Rubens at the Palace and Hotel 41. And this, on the right-hand side, lady in the front, is our friend Laura, who is our wonderful hotel manager. Laura will probably shoot me for putting so much spotlight on her, but she has come with vast amounts of experience from her time at Ashford Castle, then her time at the Rubens at the Palace, pardon me, in London, and now heading the beautiful 100 Princess Street. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand over to Laura Jameson in Edinburgh.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Anthony. I'm just going to flip my screen so we can do a little bit of a brief whiz round the hotel. I'm going to hand the camera over to my very trusted cameraman. So yeah, welcome to 100 Princess Street. As Anthony rightly pointed out, it was formerly the Royal Overseas League, and the entire property through the interiors is telling the story of Scottish exploration. So when guests arrive, they arrive into our beautiful, beautiful lobby. They're greeted by the doorman. We have our amazing guest services team here on the left. They look after the luggage. They also look after all of the pre-arrival guest contacts. They're reaching out to guests a month in advance to assist in planning itineraries throughout their stay. Luggage stays down here, and we actually invite the guests to walk up our staircase, and we go to the check-in in the Wallace, which we're going to end in. It is worth noting we do have 2 elevators, and the property is wheelchair accessible. So we have an elevator just here, and then one just a little bit further at the back. But the reason we ask all guests to join us walking up the staircase is because we're telling the story and taking them on a journey of Scottish exploration. So we'll start heading on up. So you'll be able to see we have our incredible hand-painted mural. This was painted by Croxford and Saunders. It took them around 3 years to paint, and essentially they painted wallpaper strips and then installed it at the property and then painted over to ensure everything lined up. Rather than focusing on individual explorers, we're focusing more so on the locations that Scottish explorers went to. So we start in Africa, which ties in Red Carnation's heritage with the Tommen family coming from South Africa. We then enter India and then go through into China. At this point, we're on our first floor and we have our 2 signature suites here. So I'm going to show you very quickly both of those. We'll start in the Isabel, which is named after Isabel Wiley Hutchinson, who was a Scottish botanist who travelled to the Arctic and Greenland, Alaska, and she's responsible for much of the flora and fauna information that we have on those parts of the world. So it's a very, very beautiful suite. Everything you see was either bought antique or was made custom for the property. But most notably is you have arguably the best view in Edinburgh. We have floor-to-ceiling views of Edinburgh Castle. So think Hogmanay, fireworks going off over the top. It's going to be spectacular. Very, very, very beautiful. A very lovely, spacious room, very light and bright, and very much, I suppose, echoing what Isabel stood for in the interiors. We'll head through to the Archibald now. It's also worth noting that the property had 5 bespoke tartans made for it by a lady called Araminta Campbell. And Araminta has a beautiful atelier just outside of Edinburgh, and a lot of her tartans actually line our bedroom walls. So we'll head into the Archibald, which is the larger of the 2 signature suites. So you come in, you have a powder room on the right.
My favorite.
For any guests who might be joining us. You have the main bathroom a little bit further down.
Wow.
Laura, if we could just spend a little bit of time with the camera on some of the unique details, because I think
Of course.
one thing that is so renowned at Red Carnation Hotels is the collection of antiques and furnishings and really curated pieces that are all part of that that story, and for something that our guests enjoy so much. Sorry, I will let you go.
That's right. So this is the Archibald Suite. So again, you have that incredible view of the castle with the floor-to-ceiling windows. Archibald Menzies, who the suite is named after, was a naval surgeon who travelled to North America and was responsible for bringing the monkey puzzle tree back to the UK. And he also held a spot at the Royal Botanic Garden as well. So that's why you've got this incredible antique palm tree lamp. You've also got the almost like porthole mirrors above the bed as well, just to tie into that real nautical theme. And my favourite things in this room are the beautiful pharmacy bottles as well along the top of the wardrobe. They're really, really beautiful. And then I do want to point out as well, just as we start to leave the suite, is our do not disturb signs. I think we have possibly the most imaginative do not disturb signs you may have ever seen.
I love the do not disturb signs. You really definitely know where you are in the world.
Can I ask questions just whilst you're there?
Yes.
Does the property have air conditioning?
Yes, so every room has excellent air conditioning. Every bedroom in it all works very efficiently as well, I'm pleased to say.
And I can vouch for that, because I'm a person who gets hot all the time. And when I stayed, the air conditioning is really good, really good.
And then Diane just said that she had clients staying 3 times very recently, and they're absolutely delighted with the hotel.
Yes.
Outstanding service from all staff. And then another question, are windows triple glazed from noise? That comes from Melissa.
Yes, so our noise proofing in this hotel is like nothing I've ever seen before. So, you know, where we are in these suites, we have triple glazing on the windows. You cannot hear anything going on outside. And it's the same at the lounge. And then again, as you get further up the building, and even our doors are, you know, they're very heavy, but the soundproofing on those are incredible as well. So you don't even hear people passing outside the bedrooms either.
Another
one. The fabrics that line the walls also play a good part in that insulation. Definitely.
That's a good point, because it's amazing when you go into an empty house how noisy it is. Do you have wheelchair accessible rooms together with the bathroom features?
Yes, absolutely. So we have 2 accessible bedrooms. And like I mentioned at the beginning, the entire property is wheelchair accessible. So the accessible bedrooms are on the same level as our all-day dining lounge and our Guineas pantry as well.
And actually, just for the advisors that are on the call, we're doing a FAM with Gleneagles sometime in October. So maybe, Anthony, we can try and you know, Laura as well, we can try and get the advisors to visit yourselves so they can see this property at first hand, because people are raving about the property just from the presentation. And we'll be working with John as well with the Inverlochy properties. You'd love that, yeah? So we'll definitely talk about that. So do keep a watch out for a newsletter as well. So Laura, go on. Sorry for interrupting you there.
Not at all. We're going to head up very quickly. We're going to see the Guineas pantry and then the Wallace as well. So again, we continue to look at our amazing mural that ends the South Pole. The penguins up here on this level. The penguins are everyone's favourite. Yeah. Okay. Lovely. So we are on the second floor of the hotel now. We have our reception desk just here on the right. It's worth noting check-in doesn't actually take place here. We do check-in in the Gillies pantry. We do it with the iPad. The guest gets a glass of champagne or whatever drinks they fancy. And it should be a very lovely, relaxed experience where they don't even realise they're checking in is the idea. But I'm going to wander down to the Gillies pantry now. So this is our private dining space. So we can seat up to 12 guests for private dining. And it looks absolutely beautiful. We've lined the table up in a row and we've lit all the candles. We have our painting of the stag, but most notably we have our whiskey collection. So this was our owner's, Mr. Tolman's whiskey collection that he curated with a property in Scotland in mind. And we were very, very lucky and fortunate to inherit it. We do curated whiskey experiences in the Gillies pantry as well with our head barman Dario. And it's essentially a journey of exploration, should I say. The guest gets to try every whiskey from every whiskey region in Scotland. And the idea as well is that no two whiskey tastings are the same. So Dario takes time to chat with the guests and understand what kind of flavour profile they like, so he can then pick and choose different whiskies from the different regions that he thinks that the guest is going to enjoy as well. And it's a really special experience with the candles lit, and Dario is absolutely amazing. But we'll follow through. We're going to end in the Wallace, which I like to think of as the real heart of the hotel. So we do have some guests in here, but I'll bring them through. Our New Year's party for this. Yeah. Fantastic. That's like the nicest area. It is very nice. Some seats there. So this is our Wallace. So this is the all-day dining lounge here at the hotel. So this is where it all happens. This is afternoon tea, lunch, dinner, breakfast, pre- and post-dinner drinks, where check-in also takes place as well. We have this amazing double-sided fireplace that we light in the evenings in the winter. So you have that really kind of authentic Scottish feeling. Sit by the fire, look at the castle that I'm about to show you in just a minute, and enjoy a draft. But the best thing about this room is easily the view. So we just have a look through this window just there, and we have the most amazing Edinburgh Castle view out of the window. There we go. I'm just conscious we have guests, so we're just going to head on out that way.
And Laura, can you just confirm how many bedrooms you have in total?
Yes, we have 30 bedrooms in total.
Perfect. So it's a lovely size, actually. It's nice and cute. You know what I mean? It's sort of very boutique-ish. It's a good size.
Yes,
yeah, no, it is. I think. Oh, sorry, Anthony.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, just due to the size, it really allows us to give a really elevated, personalized experience for each guest as well. You know, the team are very good at chatting to the guests and learning what their preferences are and what they're doing for the day and how we can really, you know, make their stay extra special. And I think, you know, we had our first 100% occupancy weekend with Taylor Swift in town this weekend just passed, and you know, we were still able to deliver with a full house a really, really high quality service, and the feedback has been phenomenal. And I think due to the size of the property, that really, really helps us deliver that really special service.
And if I could just add, Siobhan, when you have somebody at the helm who is this passionate about hospitality and making sure every guest is looked after, you know, it makes it for an experience that's exceptional, and hopefully people will continue coming back over and over and over again. But thank you very much for this opportunity for us to introduce you to 100 Princess Street. I see lots of little questions around. I'll let Siobhan.
I think we've answered most of them. There was one about a site inspection, so we're going to send the contact details on to that lady. I've asked her to contact you so that you can arrange that next week for her. How many one-bedroom suites are available? And also a little more info on food, room service. And that's from Catherine.
So we have 3 one-bedroom king suites in the property, and then we have junior suites, which we have 4 of, terrace suites that we have 2 of, and then we have the 2 signature suites as well. Then in terms of food, we offer an all-day dining menu in the Wallace. Everything that we do is locally sourced from Edinburgh or the surrounding area. And we offer 24-hour room service as well.
Brilliant. And I personally have to say a huge big thank you to Red Carnation as well, because we had our 20th birthday in April. Now, I actually haven't been home since, but they were very kind. They hosted us in Ashford Castle, the whole team. I think we were playing, billiards until 4 o'clock in the morning, and poor Shane was keeping our making sure that we had plenty of spirits to get to enjoy it until 4 o'clock in the morning. So a huge big thank you to Red Carnation for hosting the Adams and Butler team for our 20th birthday as well. So that was very much appreciated.
You're all very welcome, and again, thank you for these opportunities, and we can't wait to welcome your future guests, and certainly organize these through Adams and Butler. And for those of you who are planning to be in Edinburgh anytime soon, yes, we'd love to welcome you, and again, go through Adams and Butler to arrange your site visits.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. And well done on such an amazing property. It's an amazing addition to the product that's available in Edinburgh for clients. So John, we're going back to you for Glenifinnan, which is another fantastic property that's new-ish. You just need to unmute yourself there.
Unmuted. Okay. Again, Siobhan, I know we're rather limited on the images. I seem to be making more excuses here, but for the ensemble that you have on that side, most will know of ICMI and the collection of properties that we have throughout Scotland. You
basically got all the best properties from a point of view of castles, around the obviously, around the country with, you've all of them.
But really, and thanks to you, and thanks to the following that we have in North America and Europe, we've been really able to, as expand upon that with the new rooms that we put at Inverlochy, the expansion at Crossbasket Castle. So we were delighted at the same time that Glenifinnan came to us and said, look, we've been in this position for some time. Many will have known the property before. It's within the family. It's stayed within the family. But 3 ITBs later, myself and Norbert speaking to the next generation, as happens in Scotland, there was an appetite to bring back to life what is a very special property in a very, very special area. For those that aren't familiar with Glenifinnan and its location, you nearly need to turn to Harry Potter.
I have a very short little video which I'll show, and then just shows a little bit of the scenery there.
And also, John, when the video's over, can you just give us the title, like the names of all the properties you have, so they know the type of properties we're talking about. So do you want to roll it there?
Roll it.
Yeah. Just 1 second. Share screen.
And again, John will be working closely with us when we're doing the FAM trip for advisors.
Sorry for that. Oh, the video is not starting. Hold on. That wasn't.
It was making noise.
Yeah, but it wasn't showing.
That's the problem with old steam engines. You see, they're not as quick as they used to be. But that's part of the beauty. As I was saying, and whilst I'm buying you some time there, probably the most famous part of Glenifinnan is the viaduct and the Harry Potter train, as it's come to the Jacobite.
A little short video there on the train.
Sure.
March 1957, a job came up. Applied for it, got it. It's on the 60th year. I belong to the area, But yet, I do appreciate it. Something romantic about it. The whole engine, it's alive. Like a person, you've got to treat her properly, or she'll not work for you. The line itself is the most scenic rail journey in the world. Plus Harry Potter. that draw attention worldwide. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Diesel, press a button, off it goes. With a steam engine, you've got to know what you're doing. It's entirely different. The driver's in charge. You've got to be careful. It can be very physical to drive it, and you've got a big boiler, plus your fire. It takes about 12 hours to get it ready, and people don't know that. There's something different about it. You know, the scenery, it makes a difference. People you meet, they seem so happy, always smiling. It's a fine thing seeing trains. Once you start, you can't get away from it. You'd feel probably lost if you did. And here I am, after 60 years.
Thanks,
I'll
Gio.
call the attention there. Just
Once you feel probably
we can see the property in one of
after
these.
60 years.
Hold on. Where am I gonna? Uh-oh. No, I can't find it anymore. But you can pretty much see.
Yeah, and in fairness, because the photography that has been taken within the last couple of weeks, I was able to send some WhatsApps to some people, my shoddy photography work on a mobile phone, to give it an idea, because the property did fall into disrepair. It has been totally refurbished. Sorry, Siobhan, you did name those properties. ICMI as a collection, grey walls, on Muirfield, which most people know is just outside Edinburgh, phenomenal golf course. Crossbasket in Glasgow, which will have an additional 40 rooms by next year. Isle of Eriska, which we keep refurbishing and expanding, and its second restaurant, and the spa's just been refurbished. That's in Oban, right on the west coast, and not too far away from when you will arrive at Glenifinnan. And then onward to Inverlochy, where we've added the walled garden, across via Nessie, past the Inch, and to Rockpool in Inverness, which has had a makeover as well. So that's the collection ICMI.
So it's in good company, like the better, higher end properties around Scotland as well.
Yeah,
And
we
images of Glenfinnan.
The actual property itself, no, I've got some internal stuff that I sent to the girls, unfortunately, Siobhan, but we will forward it on when the proper photography is out. And that's, again, with respect, we had to get the property up and running. It was probably end of May, really, by the time the whole thing was completed, because we were building fire pits outside.
So is it open to the public at the moment?
Yeah, it's open to the public at the moment. It's open to guests at the moment. So all 14 rooms completely refurbished.
So 14 as in 1-4.
Yeah, so we've
Also
got
suitable then as a takeover as well, wouldn't it be? As an exclusive use.
Exclusive use, absolutely. Rather like Inverlochy, it's a 4-star, so priced modestly, not at the same level as Inverlochy, but obviously its proximity, it lends itself quite well. If you come out of well, everybody that will visit Inverlochy will know it's at the base of Ben Nevis. So if a lot of our day travelers or our stays at Inverlochy, they will take the route along to Mallaig, where you can take the ferry onto Skye. So that's and you will take in obviously that wonderful viaduct with the train, but on the left-hand side, obviously you have the Glenfinnan Monument, which is where Bonnie Prince Charlie came aboard. 500,000 people visit that monument every year. So it is a very well accustomed excursion. I spoke to Johnny earlier in the day, the general manager at the hotel, who used to be with us at the Inch, and he said, do yourself a favor, once you've gone past the hotel, and once you've gone past the monument, and if you're going to Mallaig to go to Skye for the day, take a left and go along the seashore. And he just said it was absolutely stunning, some of the views that we're getting there. He's going to roll down there with the video team so we can get that photograph for people that go in that particular direction.
John, would it be fair to say, you said it's a 4-star. Now I'm just going to pepper you with some questions just so that people get a sense of place. So it's a 4-star, but you think it's in keeping that if you have clients staying in other 5-star properties, like for example Isle of Eriska or wherever, in a 5-star client will be happy there, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I've looked at the interiors myself. I've seen the detail and the attention that's got into there. We were just conscious of the size and the scale and what it has to offer down there, and of course what we would spend on it as opposed to what we would spend on Inverlochy every year when we refurbish.
Okay, so would it be a substitute property for, like, we do what I call nip and tuck itineraries? A nip and tuck itinerary is that you have clients who think they're 5-star, but when
Yeah.
the advisors look at the budget are 4.5. And then
Yeah.
we do 5-star itinerary, but we pepper it with amazing hidden gem 4-star
Yeah.
properties. Is Glenfinnan suitable as an alternative to Inverlochy Castle for those who can't afford Inverlochy?
Absolutely, absolutely, and proximity wise, that has been something that we found as well when people have gone alongside it. But also, I want to play up to their food and beverage offering, because we have live music there. We're involving the local community. Everybody talks about Fork to Farm. The chefs are from Inverlochy. The musicians are local, and they come into the bar, and then the locals contribute towards that atmosphere as well. That's where we started then getting involved in putting barbecues out on that lock piece. And you saw some of the lock in the video there. So imagine that lock, imagine the view of the aqueduct and the monument. There are 3 or 4 fire pits that we've built into the lock. We have a marquee, we have a barbecue, we have a store selling local produce. So, and the reason I'm saying that, Siobhan, is if actually people are staying at Inverlochy or are traveling to Mallaig, by all means come in, use the restaurant, use the afternoon tea drawing room that we've refurbished as well, and the bar, and soak up some of the atmosphere there, because we're getting a lot of transient people there that
Perfect.
aren't necessarily residents. As I said, it's more classic Scottish in its architecture. We have a bar, we have a drawing room for afternoon teas. As I said, we're right on Loch Shiel at the front there.
Can you send us photos, like, at some stage, so we can send them out perhaps to people who are attending this webinar? We could send them out.
I
like
have
a
them
small-
already, so we'll be able to share them. They're just in a different format, so we'll be able to share them with when we send the
Okay.
recording.
Just so you know, that they're WhatsApps, that they are imagery that we've done internally ourselves. They're not the professional.
They're not
finished,
professional pictures.
and they will. And I've been asked by a lot of people. I think it's because we kind of opened up during the season, Siobhan. Obviously, for next year when the US travelers are coming back in 25, everybody will have imagery, as we do with Inverlochy, of every room and every category as well. There are 3 family rooms, and of which within those larger suites we have a single room attached within the suite element, so you can have 3 people, 3 adults within those particular rooms. There's 3 of those. 5 of them are twinnable, and the rest are large doubles.
Just a few questions there were asked about. So the name of the collection John represents it's sort of like the management company of Inverlochy. So I think our problem now is we've got sort of sidetracked down there. But the reason we mention the property, so that you know they're of the same caliber. The property in Inverness is Rockpool. So ICMI, just disregard that because it's sort of a little bit confusing. But it is the management company that are involved with Inverlochy and the marketing company. And then the one that he was mentioning in Edinburgh, Celtically you pronounce it RÍGH, which would be RIGH, but you were saying local, like there's sort of an English pronunciation on it now. What is it? Rye?
Rye. Just because of the spelling RIGH.
Yeah, so it's RIGH, and that's the apartment that was similar to the Grand in Edinburgh, but a very good price point at the moment. So we want to make sure that John mentioned a price. It's not tied in forever at that price. It's just an introductory price. It's really, really good. But the idea.
We will always discuss that with you, Siobhan, as you know, and as the guys get educated on that as well, we'll know where we fall in the mix. And of course, unbeknown to yourself and probably the listeners, is there is going to do the second development of 25 more units there, so we'll have 50 in total come the end of 25. The boys are also looking at 60 rooms on Princess Street, so along from where Red Carnation are, further towards the Balmoral. There'll be a hotel that further down the line as well. So these guys are serious about being in Edinburgh and being a performing part of the tapestry there.
So it's a case of watch the space. So just because I noticed that a few people are leaving now, so I just want to make sure that people understand Glenifinnan, it's 14 bedrooms, it's just opened. It's an alternative to Inverlochy for those who mightn't have the budget for Inverlochy. You can visit it if you're staying in Inverlochy, but ideally you would never put both of them in the same itinerary because they're in the same area. And then the key
15 minutes from each other.
Yeah, 50 minutes of each other. So you wouldn't book them at the same time. But the key things to remember is right beside the Jacobite train. It's right beside the aqueduct. It's the area that people want to visit. So when they do that tour or itinerary of Scotland, and they usually start with Edinburgh, Inverness, over to Fort William, it's an alternative for that area and an ideal gateway to the Isle of Skye, or to go further down then to Glasgow, or if they're leaving from Cromnicks or Gleneagles or wherever.
It's the island hop that you can do along the west coast. I'm not used to acronyms like West is best, but you do get that, you know, from Oban where Eriska is, you can get the island and further down Argyll and Bute with Isla and so on and so forth. Stunning scenery is what I would say. Glencoe, you name it.
And just one more tip there. So someone had asked if you can board the train from the location. No, you can't. The train go from Fort William to Mallock. But the thing is that when you're on the train, you don't see the viaduct because you're on top of it. So you can take the train one way and then drive back the other way, or do this the other way around, which you'd be driving right past the property, and you'd be able to see the viaduct and experience the area as well as seeing it from the top when you're in the train. So it's a good option there.
But basically, it's a brilliant addition to product available in Scotland that is at that luxury level and in an area that is a must-do for clients when they're visiting Scotland.
Next time I'm going to get a video team and I'm going to be on the train, and then I'm going to run over to the hotel. I feel somewhat inadequate not being at the property myself. But and again, I apologize for the lack of photography, but Siobhan will have all this and she'll make you all aware of it, because that is just the woman that Siobhan is. But
it's going to be a hidden gem for clients traveling to Scotland. So perfect for advisors on the webinar.
Jump on Siobhan's fam trip because it's going to sell out very quickly.
Brilliant. So we'll be in touch with you, John, about that as well in the next few days to finalize it.
I'm waiting for that call. Thank you, everybody that tuned in as well.
So thank you very much, everyone. We will be sending out a lot of stuff with the recording. We've had a request for a data sheet. So maybe both Anthony and John can just send us a fact sheet on the two properties that we could send out with the recording as well, if that's possible. Sure. But it is brilliant to hear of all this new stuff happening in Scotland. So thanks a million, everyone. Gio, what's the next webinar? Gio?
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway. We're going to London in 2 weeks' time. So we'll have some more Red Carnation and some experiences there in London.
Fantastic. And it's sort of our royal experiences. So really out of this world experiences in London that are not really accessible to many people. So looking forward to seeing you all then. And thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you very much to Anthony, John and Laura as well. And thanks to Gio to organizing everything. Take care.
Right.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.